What's up, Blair Bears? We're back, baby. Welcome to the Space Style Podcast. We're recording in the beautiful Los Angeles, and as much as I miss Australia and wish I could go back there right now and live there, it's also nice to be recording in this town that I live in. You know, it feels good. I'm building something, starting here. I'm freaking jacked about it. You know, we're going to be getting some incredible guests coming on in the coming weeks that I am so excited to introduce you guys to if you don't already know them. Some famous people, some experts. Yes. Am I going to have an autism specialist on? Yes. Am I going to have a chiropractor on? One of the oddest, most fascinating sciences? Am I going to have a death doula on? No, I am. I am. Yeah. We're all going to learn together because, you know, I love to learn. I love to learn just about pointless I'm insatiable with the knowledge accumulation, you know? So it's very exciting to have found an incredible studio here called The Cave with my man, Kata, here. Doing this in conjunction with my incredible network, MIK Creative, back in Australia. I was just telling Kata how, you know, over my years as a comic, I never really wanted to have a podcast. Like, it wasn't a genuine interest into me. Probably because I was so overwhelmed by my road schedule. But then, of course, this past year, with the tragedy and mind-bending, soul-breaking grief, it really stripped my life down, and I realized I have so much that I genuinely want to talk about. Funny stuff, my special interests, and also sad psychological growth, all the neurodivergence diagnoses that I've accumulated in the past year that have completely recontextualized my life. I just have so much to discuss that I want to talk about, and it's coming from a very real, passionate place, which is exciting to me. Is it great that I decided to dive into the very unpopulated podcast market maybe 12 years too late? Sure, it's not a great timing, but also I believe sometimes, you know, if you just feel really passionate about something, that it might be also the right time, regardless of, you know, proposed benefits of when you're jumping in the podosphere, you know? I have to say this every episode, but I really mean it. Thank you so much for listening and supporting this venture of mine, because I'm just so excited about it and I love it. And it's so fun to connect with my audience in a way that is really authentic to me. And I've shared myself in a very different capacity the past year. Like, I've always only showed up online. The only thing I ever posted was funny stuff. I never really posted about real stuff. And that has, of course, absolutely changed. I don't know. I just like connecting with everyone in this different way, besides just comedy. That being said, I do love stand-up comedy. I love my career. And that's even been more highlighted and become more clear to me after this year. Death really clarifies a lot of It really cuts out the that you realize you're not that into. So you shed a lot of stuff, and then it clarifies your focus and direction for the stuff that really lights you up and you're interested in. Because you only have energy when you're in deep grief for the stuff that you really, really are passionate about. And so with that being said, come to my stand-up shows. February 20th, honey, I will be doing one show in Keystone, Colorado at 8 p.m. at Warren Station, honey, okay? I need you guys to buy those tickets early, because that is the kindest thing that you can do for a stand-up comedian is buy tickets early. Why? Because it makes the whole process much less stressful, much more enjoyable for us leading up to it if we're not panicking about tickets being sold, you know? And a lot of you guys do show up and show out the day before and day of. But if you could just do it slightly earlier, that would really help ease my soul. It would be a great gift to me. And then the following weekend, I will be at Commonwealth Comedy Club in Cincinnati, baby. February 27th and 28th. Moon Tower Comedy Festival in Austin, April 15th through the 19th. Netflix is a joke. I will be headlining my own show on May 5th. May 5th at the Hollywood Improv. So get your tickets now to that. I'm very excited. And then to get tickets, of course, I post it everywhere on also my social media platforms, but you can get tickets, information, and sign up for my email list at punchup.live/BlairSocci/tickets. Okay, that's all the announcements. Also, I would love to do this podcast for many, many years and build something freaking incredible so that I can freaking oust Dax Shepard out of the Golden Globe podcast nominees. So what I need is just for you to support this if you like it. Don't do anything inauthentic to you. But if you liked it, share it with a friend. I'll leave a comment. It really helps with the algorithm. Share that on your story, honey. Okay? And leave. For the love of God, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You go all the way to the bottom, and it's when on the Apple Podcast and says, leave a review, bitch. And those reviews help more than you guys will ever know. If you could find the kindness in your heart to do that, thank you, baby, from every cell in my body, honey, okay? You have no idea how much it means to me. Every time I see, I got a new review or a comment or a share, it's thrilling to me. I love you guys. That's the update. And so I can't wait to talk about 2026. Obviously, I am thrilled. It's a new year. Last year, almost took me out, honey. Barely survived that one. Got out by the skin of my teeth. But first, we like to start the podcast, as you know, with the Freako Fact of the Week. That's right. Today's Freako Fact of the Week that I absolutely cannot believe is, did you know that you are actually more likely to be attacked by a cow than a shark? I would have never guessed this one. Okay, this is extremely glaring news for me because I follow a lot of accounts on TikTok where people on a ranch cuddle and lay with their cow as sort of some somatic healing relief, animal love, sorcery powers, And the cows, every time in all these videos, they seem like very affable creatures to me. They do. That's what my intuition feels. Whereas, sharks, they feel like absolute apex predators. That's sort of the messaging that we've been told, Cows always just seem so benign to me and sad because they live in a perpetual state of endless slaughter. Perhaps this Freako Fact of the Week is a result of evolution to become animals who are angry and attack because they're in literal goddamn survival mode, knowing that we commit mass cow genocide for decades and decades and decades, for the last century, probably centuries before that. I'm not sure. Nevertheless, this is very surprising. Moving on. What is going on in my life? How is 2026 going? Okay, first of all, I love a new year way before I had the worst year of my life. I love the feeling, the freshness of a fresh start and setting the goals and going after them. I find it very inspiring to me. Is that crazy? Look, you can make fun of me. Sometimes I say very earnest, but just know it's from the truth. It's the truth from the bottom of my solar plexus, baby, okay? That's just how I feel. I love a fresh start. I love a new year. It gives just so much new possibility. Some people don't give a shit about the new year. I don't make these resolutions that are self-torture stuff, I've come in my elder years to believe, I think I spent half of my 20s and a lot of my 30s in just perpetual psychotic self-improvement mode. You know, I was taking every course. I was going on every retreat, ayahuasca, groups, and reading workbooks, everything that there was, you know? And I guess I had to go through all that to come back to the middle of where I am now, which is like gentleness while full commitment to my goals. Like, I'm not thinking about trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to do any 75 hard or some torture, you know? I'm doing things like 15 minutes of exercise a day because it's good for my mental health. It feels nice. It gives me energy. I sound like a goddamn geriatric now, but that's okay. It makes me feel good. I do things now that make me feel good. So it's like light exercise, eating moderation of healthy and comfort foods, just being gentle. Like, does this feel good today? It's, you know, I don't know. Some people would call that healing a motherfucking inner child, bitch. Get into the gentleness part of my life instead of like the constant self-compulsion to fix that was on my younger years. And I did do a lot of that extreme diets, extreme workout plans, extreme writing schedules, yada, 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 yada. And I'm sure they were helpful at the time and did teach me like what my thresholds are and what I'm able to achieve and accomplish if I stay focused and be disciplined. And so there is value in that. But now it's like, okay, I create systems for myself to accomplish my goals in reasonable ways so that they actually get finished. Like, my thing that I am doing now is I just finished a pilot and I gave myself 30 days. That was after it was outlined. The outline is the hardest part. Once you have the outline, it's like free sailing, you know? And I was like, okay, I'll just do 1 page a day. I'm like, that's so reasonable and that's so doable. And it really helped me. I finished it. I'm doing the same thing right now on another pilot that I'm writing. Because guess what? One of my goals this year is to sell a motherfucking TV show, bitch. And yes, sure, has the industry been in absolute freefall for the last half of my career? The last 5-6 years? Every year, a new reason? Mergers, we're all going back. So soon everything will be owned by one company. We'll be back to the cable model, which means less buyers for us. Very, very bad for artists. But also on the flip side, because you know I like to make a positive spin on things, I hear that there are 150 projects being filmed in LA this year, which is really good. Because I really am so passionate about acting and I'm trying so hard. I've gotten a lot of callbacks the last 2 years, but I haven't booked the life-changing role that I desire deeply. As I think I've mentioned, I don't really know who can say, I would like to be a Melissa McCarthy, Jack Black type of career. I feel that is who I am. Maybe with like a little dash of Aubrey Plaza. You know, and so I'm hoping that Hollywood will see that in me this year. Yeah, so that was just like a little thing that I was meditating on about how I've come to approach things so differently. Because like growing up as an extreme athlete, you just have a naturally hardcore and intense personality. But then, you know, my fatigued ADHD ass, like, I'm tired as hell, bitch. Okay, so I had to create systems that are doable for me that are also extremely focused so that I can actually become the person that I want to be and be disciplined enough to have the things that I want. That being said, I'm still rocking on my vibration plate. That's very good. It's very good for my aching joints and the lymphatic system. God, we're really on the lymphatic system these days, are we not? Everyone's talking about the goddamn lymphatic system, lymph drainage. You know what I do when I have facial tension, guys? I know you will think that this is back to another psychotic part of me. I take the Theragun onto my face, level 3. And that's how I get the tension out of my face, because I have a lot of facial tension from grinding my motherfucking teeth. And what I like to grow out of grinding my teeth? Yeah, sure, I would love that. I've basically tried everything. Last year, I got the tongue tie cut, which is medically called a frenectomy because someone on TikTok said it really changed their life. I do think it helped a little bit. I did Invisalign for a year to correct my jaw and bite, which I also think really helped. Then I got the Botox for the pain in the jaw. If you haven't done that and you really are a TMJ sufferer, I really recommend that you do it because it makes a huge difference with the pain. And then, I'm also doing this guy on YouTube that I found called Jules Horn. And he does like a lot of the lymphatic drainage, body opening exercises and tension release. They're like 15-minute videos, it's all the hops, and a lot of it is like from ancient Chinese exercises that are like arm swings, like dead arms, golf swing, little hops, all that stuff, knee slaps, all these things that the Chinese have used to keep their body healthy and open and circulation and lymphatic drainage. Anyway, look up Jules Horn. I'm recommending Jules Horn to my followers. Jules Horn, very pleasant man who I think knows his. Good job, Jules Horn. What's going on in my life now? I've been in a whole writing, as I previously mentioned. As I was saying, things have been clarified, and I really want to sell a show. I've been pitching shows for a very long time now, and I think I'm kind of at the point where I could sell one. I think like I'm at the point in my career where it makes more sense, and I'm also like have more practice writing scripts because that took a while to learn. It was very frustrating to me in the beginning where I was like, how am I so funny and smart? And these are scripts, and I would have such low confidence. But now I've written so many, I'm feeling really confident about it, and I'm really excited about my ideas. And so I'm going to do it. But I've been in a whole writing, and a lot of stuff feels out of control. And what I like to do is find things that I can control. So for me, that is completing my own creative projects. And finishing a piece of writing is really hard to do. Like a lot of people don't even finish. And I've had many years where I didn't, or I whatever. And being able to do that now and have the focus is just like such a miracle. And I think a lot of it has to do with me working on my self-worth by integrating all of these insecurities and rejected parts of myself over the last 4 years with my trauma therapist. I think because I had such a crazy athletic career, I just felt like I can do whatever. I just have to apply myself. So I was like, if I'm working super, super hard and I am talented, then why does A plus B not equal C? Like, why do I not have the acting roles? Why haven't I sold a show? And that used to like really make me feel bad about myself. I was like, does everyone hate me? And in my extremely depressed, toxic thought process before several years of trauma therapy and medication, highly recommend, I've come to a place where I've grown to believe in myself and know how to finish things. One of my like mantras for this year, I love a year mantra. Every year I pick like 2 or 3. One of them is the more I create, the happier I am. And that is because as I've learned, and I think about, my brother a lot in this as well, the opposite of depression is actually not happiness, it's expression. And I've noticed when I'm creating, regardless of like what's coming from it, I'm happier. I'm so much happier, and I have self-esteem because I'm actually putting my soul into what I want to create and taking the steps to be the person that I want to be and has the things that I want. And then you just hope for like a little bit of synergy from the universe, a little bit of magic, God's favor, because they say the only way to fail is to give up. And luckily I like what I do. You don't get into this for money, even though I think we all know I have an incredible desire and wish to be extremely rich. I just don't think I'm someone who's meant to be poor. I have too many dopamine issues with online shopping, as you guys know, one of my greatest flaws. There aren't too many of them, That's how you know you really like something that is meant for you, if you do it for years while barely living above the poverty line. That's how you know, bitch. Okay? So, like, I've been reflecting this past year because, like, as you get older, it stops being cute. Like, in your 20s, you're like, oh my God, this is radical. I live in New York and I'm like such an artist and I'm just scrapping. I'm just scrapping, walking miles in the snow to these goddamn open mics. These bar shows in the basement, but it's so romantic, you know, because I was so caught up and intoxicated with comedy, you know? And you guys know my story that I originally moved to New York because I got into my no way school for grad school to become a novelist. And I had not even thought at all at that point that I was going to start comedy. I had no idea at that point. So I didn't move to New York knowing I was going to do comedy. And then pretty quickly I started. Do I wish I could go back and do my MFA at like 60 years old and like dive into fiction? Yes. Unfortunately, I can't do that. It was like lighting money on fire. Did I read a lot and get like an incredible scope of literary treasure? Yes. Am I much more well-read because of that? Yes. Now, one of my other goals this year is to get back into reading fiction. I haven't been reading for a while. And of course, I do read in some books, but a lot of times audiobooks. And that's because of the moment I got on TikTok, which of course you guys all know I'm addicted to TikTok. Not really posting, just more of a consumer. Does TikTok shop get your boy after my nightly 5 milligram sleep gummy? Yeah. Yeah. And then the next day, current me is like, oh my God, look at this present from past me. That's crazy. I had no idea it was coming. I've learned so much on TikTok. I can't believe how much I learn on there. And I love learning. So of course it's a perfect match. But it has deterred me from reading like I did my whole life. Like, you know, I'm at the age where I didn't grow up with screens, bitch. And thank God. We played outside. We got to watch Nick at Night and Goosebumps. That was scary as and read. And so like I was dragged to all my older brother's millions of basketball games and games. So I always had a book on me. I was a little reader bitch. And I was hyperverbal as a kid, which is like a subsect of autism. And yeah, it really formed who I am. And so I really miss it. Now, sadly, because our attention spans are so goddamn shot by these screens, the text, the social media, the checking the social media, the emails, the everything. Our attention spans don't exist anymore. And now when I go to read, it feels like a struggle for my brain to stop and be present. And so my aim this year is to get back to reading fiction. I'm aiming for 1 book a month. And so far, I have been inspired by Jesselnick. He has a book club that he started in the beginning of this year, 2026. And the first one is The Getaway. And so I now have 8 days to complete that. Yeah, I've had the book for 2 weeks and it stays there. But then, you know, one of my other goals this year, and I've wanted to do this for about 2 years, is to become a skincare TikTok influencer. One of my special interests, of course, is skincare, and I am obsessed with it, and I have been since I was a little kid. And I did learn that like beauty and self-care is a very common trait of autistic women. Unconsciously, it's, I think, a form of masking and feeling like making you feel more, I guess the word is normal or like undetected in the world. And which really is what, you know, tricks people where they say like, you don't look autistic. I'm like, yeah, really? Because that's because it's internal, bitch. Like, you have no idea what's banging around in here. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yesterday, guess what it was? It was leaf blowing and power washing day at my building. I almost bashed my head in. I couldn't do. I put on the noise-canceling headphones. It didn't even help. I was angry. My body, you know? Then, you know, someone after, you know, I think I do post a lot of things online about auditory issues. And someone was like, get the loop headphones, the 3-setting noise canceling loop earbuds. They're not headphones. And I'd been eyeing those for a while. Many people have recommended them to me for like 6 months. So those just arrived this morning and I can't wait to try them. And I will let you guys know how they do. What if they change my life? What I was saying, the reason I haven't become a skincare influencer on TikTok, sadly, is because I don't know how to edit a TikTok video. I asked one of my younger friends. He came over one day and showed me, but that was so long ago. And now I need a refresh course because I can be a skincare influencer. I have been researching skincare my entire life. I've been on Skincare Talk for 3 years now. And these girls, they make so much goddamn money and they're not even being funny. I could do it being funny, telling stories while I'm putting you girls on and boys. And the days, if you're into that. If the days are into skincare, they probably are. I don't know. Welcome to the days, even before the men, much more before the men on the hierarchy, even though autistic people don't engage in social hierarchy. And that's why ultimately some people get very mad at us because they don't like when you don't like recognize, put them on a pedestal or something, even though you're not even thinking about that, even though you're just a sweetheart being friendly, but they can't figure out why you're off-putting to them. And it's because you treat everyone and think everyone is equally worthy and you're not impressed by famous people and you don't look down on anyone who's just a regular person or, you know, like that. That's a inherent autistic trait. Anyways, if any of you can show me how to edit a TikTok video, that'd be dope because then I can finally start my burgeoning skincare influencer TikTok new life. And look forward to that. And one of the things I've always loved to do is put my friends, my girls on, my mom's friends, my mom, all my girlfriends onto products I love. Like nothing makes me happier. It's so exciting to me. So I'd like to be able to do that on a bigger scale. Oh, last thing I want to say is, you know, it's only been less than a year since I was diagnosed with autism. And I have made it is a pretty big part of my set. But what's frustrating is one, people don't think I look autistic because I can talk to people and have friends and making friends is not difficult to me. But what pisses me off is how everyone thinks autism is trendy. Like, that's a really big sentiment online and with people, like, and I notice it because I'll be following dudes at the store who are joking about people think I have autism or whatever, or all this stuff. So many dudes. It's like everyone is talking about autism on stage right now. It's like trans bits 2 years ago. Even though I've been autistic my whole life and I didn't know, I'm still learning so much about it. And the fact that people think it's trendy when they have no idea, like, how much it has affected my life. It's like, oh yeah, it's trendy? It's trendy? Is it trendy when one single overhead light can take my ass down? Is that trendy to you? Is it trendy to you when one change of plans absolutely puts me in shreds, ruins? Is it trendy to you when if I don't have at least 48 hours to research something in its complete entirety, then I am extremely agitated? If I don't have time in my day to compulsively research and gain knowledge as my main hobby compulsion, and what that does to my own nervous system, is that trendy to you, bitch? Ah! You don't look autistic, okay? Well, you don't look like no, you do look like you have gout. You do. One of my other goals this year is after I finish this show, writing this pilot that I'm very deep in. And look, it is difficult for me to multitask. Like, if I have a little break in the road, which I did this month, it's harder for me to complete a piece of writing when I'm doing a million podcasts, have a million auditions. I'm having meetings every day. I'm pitching my other show I've been developing for a couple of years, like in multiple pitches. And then you put road dates in with that, which like makes you gone for half of the week. It's really difficult for me to focus on writing. Like, I need kind of to cut out a little time to complete because it is like, so it is something it's more difficult to complete than other stuff for me. So that's why I'm doing it right now. It's like, it's too hard to complete that. when I'm on the road. Of course, if you want something bad enough, you should never have excuses, but I'm just trying to set myself up for success. And I want to write a book of essays about my year last year that are funny essays that like show the absurdity and craziness and even funniness of death. And then also just the deep, deep sadness and just, you know, worldview shattering experience of losing someone that you are so close with and just adore and look up to, and they're your idol and they loved you so deeply. Like, I want to write that book. So that is my goal to complete by the end of the year. Do I also want an upper breath by a TikTok extremely well-reviewed plastic surgeon in Tijuana? Yes, I'll probably get that. Because as much time as I spend on skincare, you can't help if your eyelids are growing over your eyes, falling down. Some skincare products that I've added that I really have been liking a lot lately that I'm like, oh, I got to put the people on. The Biodance Pore Perfecting Collagen Serum. It's incredible. I found out about this really from the sheet mask, the Biodance pink collagen PDRN sheet mask that everyone uses. And I've never really been a huge sheet mask fan. So when these emerged on the market, these clear ones these ones that are like milky pink, and by the time you take them off, they are clear and like all the serum has been absorbed. They're so hydrating. I was like, okay, these are actually really worth it. Like, it's makes my skin feel so much better. So, and I would take the extra product left over in the sheet mask bag envelope and I'd put it all over my body and it just felt so good. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get the serum and I'm also going to get the Biodance Pore Perfecting Collagen Peptide Cream that goes along with it. And I can say I've been using them and they feel so good on your skin. And this is Korean skincare, of course. I love so much Korean skincare. So I do have to personally recommend those two products, and obviously also the pink Biodance Collagen PDRN sheet masks that are incredible. But if you're looking for something that's not a 4-pack, the serum and the peptide cream are incredible. I will put these in my Amazon storefront so that you can have access to them easily as well. Also, I just got the Epais. It's the company. It's spelled EPAIS eyelash growth serum. I just started it, so I can't really fully recommend it yet. I noticed that so many people were recommending it and they weren't selling it. So that's how I know it was a true recommendation. On TikTok, the girlies were really on it as we've all moved towards prostaglandin-free eyelash serums. I'm always trying to grow my eyelashes because they're blonde and clear and like, you know, barely visible. And so I'm excited about this one and I really, really hope it works. And the only lash serums that really worked for me when I was younger were like Grande Lash and Babe Lash, but they had prostaglandin, so they would grow the out of your eyelashes. But for me personally, I was one of those people who I developed the deepest redness. I have sensitive skin as well on my lash lids and below my eyes. And I know that it was definitely thinning the skin, making my skin like permanently red and causing orbital fat loss, which we don't want. The fat is what keeps your skin plump looking. So even though those worked, they were devastating and they hurt me in very big ways. And so I'm glad that we are moving away from those. Okay, next we're moving on to hair health. I have never been someone who like even thought about hair health at all my entire life. I mean, I use shampoo and conditioner, a leave-in spray, and like a curl cream, you know? But this past year, I lost a ton of my hair due to all-encompassing grief. My body just stopped growing it. So I have started a hair care journey this year. I never, I was like, I don't have room for that outside of my skincare that takes up 99% of my brain. So I'm trying the famed Abby Young method from TikTok. The girlies know Abby Young, to work on my hair health after losing so much of it. I've also started taking Thorn Ferra Absorb to work on my iron and ferritin, and vitamin D K3 supplement. I'm getting all my blood work done in 2 weeks to see what my levels are at. And I'm hoping they're not too low or at least increasing. I'm getting a full hormone panel. I'm getting the MTHFR gene test, which is related to neurodivergence and methylation capabilities, because, those are intertwined. So I'm so excited to finally know all this stuff about my body. I've wanted to get these tests for so long. I'm also getting a full autoimmune panel, a Lyme test, heavy metals, and fertility panel, just to kind of see what's up. Of course, I would love to have a child. Do I want to have it with a man? I'm not sure. I'm really not. And this is all through the company Function Health that gave me a free membership, which I never used one time. Like, I've had it for a couple of years. I've never used it. I've never opened it, whatever. I'm really very pleased, like, how easily they make it. Like, it's just like blood tests, and then they put it through all those panels. It's like pretty amazing, especially for my ADD ass, like not having to go to a million appointments and just getting it all done in like 1 or 2 blood work sessions. That to me is like incredible. And they have really good prices. I do need to get a code to give you guys through them, because like now that I have scheduled my first appointment like years later, I am very excited about the concept and how streamlined they make the process for you. So if it does end up being great, I need to get a code for you guys to get like cheap membership or percentage off. I hate spending any large amount of money on hair or skin products, because through my years of research in the space, I believe there is such a massive market of affordable beauty, high quality, affordable beauty now. Often where the actual expensive company, like these companies, they own affordable drugstore brands as well, often with a lot of the same ingredients, and so that they can have access to revenue and money in both markets. They're tapping into a bigger market. Like L'Oreal hair care now is basically like fully duping like all of KEYSTONE's products that are truly like insanely expensive. When I see the girls on the TikTok using all of the KEYSTONE products, I'm like, what are you, goddamn millionaire? Like the prices are unsustainable. It upsets me. I need to put that money elsewhere, into my Tijuana upper bluff. And so, nevertheless, all that being said, I finally caved and bought the K18 hair mask, which is ridiculously expensive, and I debated it for 6 months as like I was losing all my hair, and my hair was like in a way, I was seeing my hair in a way I'd never seen it before. But so many people said this product is actually a game changer and absolutely worth it that I finally caved and bought it. I had a Sephora gift card, so that made it hurt less, but still, like, the principle pissed me off. And I've used it 3 times so far, and it has made my dry hair really soft. We'll see what it, like, and I do feel like it's repairing and is a very, very high quality product. I will update you on the progress after I've been using it for a longer amount of time. But so far, I do have to say the girlies, they were right about the K18 molecular hair mask. Other favorite things at the moment that I am really enjoying and happy about: Thrive mascara in the shade Elena, which is a berry brown, and I love it. I've never seen mascara this shade. As I get older, I'm always trying to find ways to make my makeup look as soft as possible, because I think like intense makeup is very aging. And that's a tubing mascara, which I love a tubing mascara because I put so much goop on my face that mascara, even waterproof mascara, runs down my face because it's just always, I like my face to feel wet. And then next up is the Ilia Skin Tint. This is an extremely polarizing product and is my one real like expensive makeup product that I use. I use affordable makeup brands across the board. So it is an investment, but it is like this extremely hydrating formula because I don't like a intense full coverage foundation look on me. Like I like to have my skin like slightly, blurred looking, but still see my skin underneath. And so it is like extremely wet and hydrating. So it's great for dry skin gals. Although makeup artists have told me that it's very actually psychosomatic in that my skin actually isn't as dry as I think. Who can say? Who do I trust? An outsider or me? I know myself. I put Aquaphor underneath my makeup. And so a lot of that probably isn't normal or doable for others. But I do it. I do it, baby. I love it. And I do that as my last step of my skincare morning and night after I put on all my other and sunscreen, and after at night I put on my retinol. Just so you know, I will be doing a full episode just on skincare because it's exciting. Maybe I'll have an esthetician on or like one of my favorite skincare influencers. That would be really fun. But I will be doing that. So I don't know if the boys will be tuning in for that one. Tell the girls about this podcast. What's the log line for this podcast? What's a log line? Yeah, it's a podcast about pop culture, mental health, womanhood, my weird special interests, and a little tiny bit of aliens. So that's what you should expect. Of course, the men are always welcome, but you might not have the same interests as me, a woman, so whatever you want. Next up is The Pitt on HBO. I was a late adopter to The Pitt. I basically watched the whole first season before season 2 came out, which was like 2 weeks ago. And I got so into it. It was just so well done. It made me think of like the shows in the 90s, like ER, just like very well done. And all the characters are so interesting and complex. And I absolutely hate some of the graphic medical stuff because I'm extremely squeamish with like blood or all this stuff. I didn't appreciate seeing those girls have to get down that hard penis last week. I did not appreciate that, but still the show's so good and I just love it. Like I think it's so well done, so well acted, so well written. It's so good. I recommend The Pitt. I love it. My other recommendation, I watch so much TV, which is why I have a hard time reading, is His and Hers limited series on Netflix with Tessa Thompson, which is one of my new crushes. Like she is one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen in my life. Incredible. And then the other guy, I forget his name, but he's really good too. But the twist at the end was just so good. So I really recommend that if you haven't seen that. One of my favorite genres of television is like a psychological thriller that's not that violent because my nervous system like literally can't witness violence. All these like mystery limited series that are made for women, really, I love them all. Like that, I love watching that. All the ones on Netflix, the Jennifer Garner one, the Octavia Spencer one, the one Surface where they try to retrace like if she was pushed off the boat or if she jumped and how her memory was wiped. Very good. And then last thing I will recommend is the Alexa Smart Flower Remedies. This is a bit witchy and cuckoo, so I don't know if you'll be into that. But they're flower essences that are made to treat like emotional issues. I tried it like in 2020 from this company after being recommended, and I noticed a massive difference. And I have been taking, they one bottle lasts like a month, and I've been taking them steadily ever since for 5 years. This past month, I decided to try one I've never tried before. It's the Alexa Smart Sunshine Remedy, which is supposed to like help treat like sadness and make you happy. And I have to say, like, I do feel it working. Like I feel positive, all the obstacles, all of it, I feel positive. Like I feel stuff roll off my back despite the horrors that persist in our world. So yeah, if you want to try that. And then lastly, I did have another gift card and I got a lipstick that I've wanted to try for years, but of course it's a little expensive, so I never bought it. It's the Violette FR Bisou Balm. It's been advertised to me for years. It's French lipstick, and it's like that blurred matte look, but also hydrating, and it's this really cool reddish color, like called Mon Cherie. That's the shade I bought. And then I also got the Makeup Forever Endless Cacao. Normally, I would never pay that much for a lip liner. I'm a dupe girl, and I have all the dupes. Unfortunately, this was another thing that everyone said was just so worth it, and they're completely right. Like, I am obsessed. I've been wearing it with the Violette Bisou Balm, so really excited about that. And unfortunately, I recommend it, bitch. Okay? So this week's Complainer's Corner. My complaino this week is this new road rage that I've never experienced in my life. You know, I'm a pretty chill guy, so I've never experienced road rage. In my 2017 Prius, just cruising on the road, I'm usually just relaxing and maxing and having a great time. Now I'm on a very low dose of Vyvanse, 10 milligrams, which has helped me immensely. I can't believe how much more capable I am. It's insane. That makes me sad to think of like how many years I didn't have it. That I went from grad school and got my MFA in creative writing fiction without that. I don't know how I did that. I don't know how I did that. Anyways, I have noticed when I take my little 10 milligram Vyvanse, all of a sudden I get so angry on the road. I'm mad at everyone. I'm like, why the f are you going so slow? Learn how to drive, like these crazy LA folks or like New York folks, you know? Like, I'm one of them now. That's the only downside. Sad. And now we leave you with this week's Galactic Gossip.
Galactic Gossip.
Did you guys know that because of the increase in UFO sightings, the CIA prompted the government to develop a secret panel to investigate all of the sightings in 1953? Yeah, we've been on this tip for a while, okay? The Robertson panel was headed by H.P. Robertson, a physicist at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California, and included other physicists, an astronomer, and a rocket engineer. The Robertson panel met for 3 days in 1953 and was briefed on military activities and intelligence that they had been investigating. They also reviewed films and photographs of UFOs. Their conclusions were that UFOs were not a direct threat to national security and that most UFO reports could be explained as known aerial objects. Okay, something fishy there. They're not saying that the UFOs don't exist. They're just saying, don't worry about that. I think we're fine. You know? But it is interesting that they really tried to quell all that back then. And also how many secret intelligence task forces have been working under almost every president the last 100 years investigating this stuff. And a lot of those former high-ranked military people, as seen on The Age of Disclosure, the documentary put out, that is a pretty comprehensive documentary and did make me slightly worry about my previous concept of aliens, is that they're benevolent creatures highly 2 billion light years ahead of us in intelligence that think of us as little, rudimentary dogs, the way we see dogs. They're like, oh, those little dummy mortals, But that movie, you guys should watch it and let me know what you think. Showed a lot of these military intelligence, high-ranking military officials that were heads of these task forces, and they decided to come forward because they think disclosure is so necessary. So we'll see what happens in the coming next couple of years, bitch. This was so nice to catch up with you guys. It's been so fun. And thank you for listening. Buy tickets to my stand-up shows. Rate, subscribe, share, comment, review. I love you all so much, Blair Bears. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week.